Welcome back to some more Tatarigoroshi. So, where we last left off, well, how should I say it? Some intense stuff happening because involving the bento making contest. And well, losses were given that time. Crazy shit. Anyway, let's continue reading. In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. As Satoko muttered complaints under her breath, quite merrily, she came with me to the store. Rika-chan didn't come with us. She said she had a thing she wanted to do or something. I believed her when she told me. But when I really thought about it, I started to think maybe she was being considerate towards Satoko in her own way. Well then. In her own way, huh? Without Rika-chan here, Satoko was prouder and more loquacious than ever. Do you understand? Supermarkets will put things on sale when it gets near closing time. For example, you can't have a stir fry without some pork, and if we wait a little longer, it'll be marked half off. They can't sell meat or fish once it's not fresh anymore, so they make it all cheaper in a last-ditch effort not to have anything left over. Of course, every veteran housewife is familiar with this concept, and when we get close to happy hour, like we are now, and I wasn't really listening to her, but she was telling me all this quite proudly. Every time I seemed surprised at something, or made an affirmative grunt in place of conversation, Satoko would say, "You don't know anything, do you, Keiichi-san?" and smile very happily in spite of her complaints. She led me by the hand to all sorts of stalls, one after the other. She was in such a supreme mood that just being with her cheered me up. She was in such a supreme mood that just being with her cheered me up. Merely being pulled into Satoko's pace was a lot of fun. Hey, why don't we just go with this economy size pack? Whoa, there's a real good looking one with cheese in it over here. Keiichi-san, you have no financial sense. Look at this. It's over our budget. We don't have enough money. Oh boy. Satoko pushed a handful of receipts in my face. Pfft. Why can't Satoko do these kinds of mental calculations when she's at school? Drat. Should we buy a load of the normal ones or buy fewer of the better stuff with the cheese in it? This is quite troubling. Calm down. For boys at your age, it's wiser to choose quantity over quality. Grr, Satoko, you're being too strict. A man's heart desires both quality and quantity. Why can't you understand that? No matter the size of a man's heart, his wallet won't be any bigger. I swear. Hey, stop clinging to the glass so stubbornly. After enjoying ourselves in such an exchange, we started to hear energetic voices coming from over by the butcher we visited earlier. I could see a handful of housewives flooding the place. Oh no! If we don't hurry, all the half-off pork will be gone. Ow, ow! Don't pull me. Don't pull on my neck. Satoko really seemed like she was having fun. She looked like a kid who had grabbed her family's hands while running towards an amusement park attraction. In the end, the bag of pork we attained was so normal that it almost hurt, but I knew that it would taste absolutely delicious. I love pork. The cicadas had come out at some point, and the Higurashi were singing in chorus. The air was so clear, and it felt so good. Our silhouettes, stretching out on the ground made for a really wonderful picture. We had filled our bicycle baskets to the brim with our shopping bags. They only contained ingredients and various other foodstuffs. Even so, every last thing packed in them sort of looked really happy and made me feel really happy in turn. Going shopping for dinner seems pretty sensible too. It makes you really enjoy your meals. I can't wait to eat. That's a part of cooking for yourself as well. Dinner starts while you're shopping for it. I'm so excited for this. Vegetable stir fry isn't even in my mom's cookbook. I never get to eat it unless we go out to a Chinese place. Chinese food is so good. So I'm really looking forward to it today. That is indeed a pity. Then today I will present to you an especially tasty dish. Normally right about now was the time I would start messing with her, but I didn't. Yeah, I bet you'll end up making something really great. I'm really looking forward to it. She stammered for a second. Satoko had been prepared for me to start making fun of her right then too, and when it didn't come, she was surprised. Or maybe she stammered for some other reason, I don't know. But I immediately knew she wasn't feeling anything bad. Yes, I'll deliver an extraordinary, delectable dish. You better look forward to it. As Satoko and I rode back on our bikes, I had a thought. Was I this sort of person? Until now, I would have lashed back at Satoko right away if she did something to me. Yeah, that was the kind of relationship we had. We would poke at each other a little, then kick up a storm while nitpicking at one another. At some point, that had changed. We weren't playing our usual tit for tat. I didn't provoke her, so we didn't fight. That went for Satoko too. Satoko, who I thought I knew, hadn't been like this until now. Our relationship was changing, little by little. That's what it felt like. But it wasn't something I had to worry about. It was like our relationship had become a little bit happier, a little bit more charming. I wonder why we changed like this. Was she lonely and projecting her older brother Satoshi, who hadn't returned home, onto me? Rika-chan told me about that yesterday. That was probably exactly it. So, as my actions drew closer to Satoshi's, Satoko was returning to how she'd been when she was living happily with her brother. Interesting. In other words, this Satoko was the real Satoko. Satoko had been able to see her brother again and had finally gone back to normal. Now that I'd been playing the role of her brother, I discovered that she really could smile so sweetly. But I wasn't Satoshi Hojo. I was Keiichi Maibara, a totally different person. I couldn't become her brother. I could come close, but I could never really get there. That was vaguely somehow a little sad. I was wearing Satoshi's mantle, and that would have to come off one day, and that would doubtlessly put an end to this meager, nostalgic, peaceful time of Satoko's. A limited tranquility. A tranquility that would end one day. Putting it in those terms, it really was sad. I shook my head firmly and drove off those pointless thoughts. What's the matter, Keiichi-san? Sorry, it's nothing. If it's nothing, then please don't act all strange like that. It makes me worried that you might have eaten something rotten. Right. Sorry, Satoko. Nagging like always, but she still seemed really happy. That mood of hers drew me in, putting a smile on my own face. Hey, Keiichi Maibara, why don't we quit thinking about this having to end one day? If it will, then just think about it when that happens. There was one thing, however, that I could say for sure. As long as I smiled like this, Satoko's own smile would never wane. So as long as I stayed this way, this tranquility would never end. Satoshi would come back one day too. That might happen a lot further away than I like, but... Until that day, what's wrong with me being a replacement for him? Saying that I'm not her real brother so I can't become Satoshi, that was just an excuse. If I just didn't run away, Satoko would stay happy and live a fun life of annoyed nitpicking. I don't know what happened to Satoshi or what made him abandon Satoko and run away, but just seeing Satoko in such a good mood made me think I could persevere as long as I needed to. So this is what I thought. I wouldn't become Satoshi, I would become a replacement brother. This is it. This is the kind of stir fry I was waiting for. It's great. It's absolutely great. The salt and pepper in the broth, man, I could eat an entire pot of this. Stop that, Keiichi-san. You're spilling food everywhere. The food isn't going to run away. You don't need to eat it so fast. Well, she is right on that one. No, it will run away. Yeah, sure. The best and freshest flavors are running away from the moment the meal is completed. Well, enjoy it while it lasts. Meal's complete. If you were to make 100... Oh my god. Why does it do that shit? If you were to make 100 delicious things, then I would have a duty to taste every one of them. It's just good manners to do so. Your feelings are more than enough, so calm down and enjoy your food. You're right, I'm sorry. Null and Saltier. I meekly scratched my head, then put down my chopsticks and laughed along with her like it was funny. I ended up doing most of the eating. Satoko was barely taking a bite. She seemed satisfied just by watching me enjoy the food so much. Whenever I filled my mouth with more of her delicious meal, Satoko looked glad. That let me enjoy the food even more. In this way, she kept smiling happily the whole time. Looking at her made me really happy as well. The time passed, softly and gently. Before, I would have gone back and forth hurling insults with Satoko. In other words, we would have gotten into a fight right away. Or a fist fight, I don't freaking know. Right away, I had never known I could feel such peace of mind by talking to her honestly like this. I was a little bit happy about having discovered this new side of Satoko. For example, I was eating food that Satoko had made. There wasn't an inch of me that thought it was suspicious. Before, however, Satoko would have definitely put some sort of a trap into this. I think I ate too much. I'm gonna take a dump. Hey, Keiichi-san, it's bad manners to say such things during a meal. Then what should I say? I'm going to the bathroom? The toilet? The lavatory? Satoko looked down, her face bright red, and pointed down the hallway as if to say, just go already. Whoops, my old habits seem to have come back. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this wasn't all that bad either. No weird schemes, everything is just natural. And while having such utterly unguarded thoughts, I went into the bathroom. Tug. My foot caught on something string-like. Huh? Whoa! Bang! Kerslam! Go! Rattle, rattle. A kettle? Wash tubs? Satoko! She got me. I can't believe her. She always does this when I let my guard down. I can't relax for a minute around her. Still, it was kind of funny, and I didn't really feel like getting angry. Satoko, laughing uproariously, came over. See? I knew you would fall for it sooner or later. Why, you little... I let my guard down for 1 second, and this is what I get. I picked up all the wash tubs that had hit me in the head, and went to go hit Satoko with them. But then, I doubled over with the laughter that was been welling up within me, so I couldn't manage it. I wish things could go on forever like this. It's not like I was having the most fun since coming to Hanamizawa or anything, but it was probably the first time that I'd spent my day so simply and comfortably. It really wasn't worth much. It was only a few hours after all. As an only child, it was my first taste of having a sibling. Just washing dishes with her felt really nice. Side by side we washed, with the experienced Satoko doing most of the work as I threw in appropriate words to add to the conversation. The scene was so commonplace and yet so mild and warm. Maybe I had felt this kind of warmth before too, in the past. I think I've stood next to the sink with my mother like this when I was little. It made me feel nostalgic when I remembered it. It was the same sort of slow, easy time. It was tranquil. Such a quiet tranquility that the fact I wasn't uneasy about anything itself almost made me uneasy. Hey, wait, Keiichi Maibara. You feel uneasy about something just from spending time so leisurely? There's nothing at all to feel uneasy about. I mean, why would I be punished for enjoying a gentle life? I'd do anything to keep these days going, and I would never do anything bad, no matter what. I'd work hard for it and endure much for it. So, God. It's not much of a dream to want this kind of thing to keep on going, but can't you grant it? Oh? Is that not the telephone? Who could it be at this hour? Huh? Oh, you're right. I hadn't noticed until she mentioned it. I hurried to stand up, then ran to the phone. Who could it be at a time like this? I did feel a little like the phone had interrupted my happy moment, but I still wanted to brag about how happy the time I was spending made me, no matter who it was on the other side. Hello? This is my Bara speaking. Hello? Keiichi, it's your mother. Oh, hello, Mom. What is it? It's pretty late. That was a little cold of me when she was only calling because she was worried about her son. Well, no kidding. I couldn't help but give myself a dry smile. It sounds like you're doing just fine for yourself. I was worried that you couldn't make dinner and went to bed hungry. Nah, it worked out. Did you make dinner properly? What did you have tonight? It was vegetable stir fry, rice, and miso soup. Bought stuff for it at the supermarket, plus a whole bunch of side dishes just for fun. Oh yeah, listen to this. I got the pork during the sale and got it half off. The things a housewife knows, right? And also, all of that was thanks to Satoko, and not something I should be about. But still, I couldn't help but want to boast about the dinner tonight. It seemed like Mom got the hint that I was in a really good mood. I see. I'm so relieved that you're doing just fine. Oh yes, another thing. Your dad and I finished up with our job. We think we'll be back tomorrow afternoon or evening. Oh, I see. You did well for 2 nights. We've been pulling all-nighters too. It was a lot of work, but we managed to fill the gap in your dad's mentor's event. Cool. That's good. Well done. Why did my parents coming home seem so disappointing? I knew a little bit of the reason, of course. This tranquility I never wanted to end was about to end so readily. Readily. So readily. And it was a little painful. After being asked what kind of souvenir I wanted from Tokyo and replying that anything edible would be great, I put down the receiver, and Satoko appeared, having finished cleaning up her trap. At first, Satoko was in a very good mood, but when she saw me put down the receiver with an uncertain expression, her own clouded over a bit. It seemed like she'd gotten the gist of what my phone conversation had been about. Was that your parents, Keiichi-san? Yeah. Mom says they'll be back tomorrow. Oh, that's good then. I won't have to go to the trouble of making you dinner tomorrow. Now you can enjoy your meals with just your family. No, that's not it. When I think about the dull, plain dinner table coming back tomorrow, it's a little lonely. You sure do live in luxury. A family sitting around the table. I can't even speak right now. Live in luxury. A family sitting around the dinner table is the most fun way to enjoy a meal of all. Her brother, Satoshi, running away from home, came to mind immediately. But there was no gloom in the way she said it. It was only for 2 days, but they were very enjoyable dinners. Well then, next time I'll go to your house to visit. Huh? Satoko momentarily made a happy smile, but then, a second later, it changed. Oh my gosh. But then a second later, it changed to an expression of surprise. My house is small and it's dirty, and the kitchen isn't as good as at this. And the kitchen isn't as good as at this one. Isn't as good as this one. Well, I don't mind, but well, if you don't want to, then I won't. Satoko shook her head firmly, her whole body expressing denial. Wait a sec, I'm pretty sure in this Watanagashi, we already seen what her house looked like. Her whole body expressing denial. I gotta get you to teach me a whole bunch more stuff too. I finally managed to figure out how to use the rice cooker and how to cook miso soup after all. That's right, isn't it? Perhaps we should use this opportunity to have you learn more about cooking. It was so like Satoko to take this chance to proclaim that it was all for my sake, but there was no way to conceal her own enthusiasm. It was true that this gentle time would come to an end when my parents got back. There was no need to lament that, though. I can easily put in the effort to continue our mi- I could to put on. I can easily put in the effort to continue our mild moments like this. Like yesterday, Satoko told me she didn't need to be escorted home, but Rika-chan wasn't with her tonight. She would be going home by herself. Everyone knew everyone else's faces here in Hinamizawa, so it wasn't like it was dangerous to go out at night, but it still wasn't good to send a girl on her way all alone. At the very least, that's what I thought as Satoko's older brother. I'll take you as far as the school at least. There's more lights over in that direction anyway. It's really fine, alright? If someone bad shows up, I will take them down with one finger. Are you sure about that? There was no point in pressing her any more on the subject, so I took a handful of Satoko's hair and rubbed her head vigorously. Come on, Satoko, don't complain so much. Uh, your Nini will bring you part of the way there. That's what I was about to say when I suddenly got embarrassed and my voice trailed off. Nini could only be the nickname Satoko gave to her older brother, and nothing else. I was about to use it pretty lightly, so I started to feel apologetic and a little shamed. Nini. Eh? What did Satoko just say? Well, Keiichi-san just seems like an older brother. That is what I said. It's not quite right, but you seem kind of alike, so I just... Oh. Oh, Satoko laughed awkwardly, and turned red in the face. Of course, I was embarrassed when I saw her too, because the fact that I was trying to act like her brother had gotten across. A warm feeling spread out from my chest. It was completely different from romantic things, or any of those more impatient emotions. Or any of those more impatient emotions. It was much more graceful, quiet and warm, and calm. Satoko still needed her Nini. I had initially thought Rika-chan was being sly by not coming today, but when I thought about it like this, I could feel a kind thoughtfulness of her worrying about her good friend's feelings. Maybe Rika-chan had understood that she couldn't play the part of a brother itself. So then, no, let's stop there, Keiichi Mabara. There's no point in thinking about it so hard. It means everyone feels the same way. It means everyone wants Satoko to be happy. Satoko is acting as though her Nini were running away from home. Didn't bother her at all. Even though that wasn't actually the case. She was very sad, and always waiting for him to come home. Because Satoko was a stable person when she was her sister. In order for her to really be this level-headed, having a brother was something she couldn't do without. In other words, Satoko still needed a brother. Nobody had the right to smile away as childish immaturity. In fact, they deserved praise for being so close to each other as siblings. That role of brother should be played by her real Nini, by Satoshi, but unfortunately she wasn't here. So since I'm here, I'll play the part, and not with a guilty conscience, but in a very natural way. Because, was there something wrong with seeing Satoko smile so happily? What is it, Keiichi-san? You've been smirking for quite a while now. Is it weird for me to look happy? It isn't weird or anything, but, well... what? The sound of the motor on her bike lights was too loud, and I couldn't hear what Satoko said. Huh? What? What did you say? Nothing. You really are just like Nini, you know? Keiichi-san, is that right? Of course, you're completely different from my real Nini. But like, there's things. Things that you do the same. It's really a mystery. The same. Do you feel lonely when you remember Nini? Once I said that, I thought for a moment that was absolutely the wrong thing to say, but Satoko didn't seem to mind one bit. Do you feel lonely when you remember Nini? Mind one bit? It's not that I'm lonely, since Keiichi-san is being my Nini for me right now. Well, As I was flustered for a moment at her hitting the mark, Satoko suddenly asked me a question in a calm voice. It was very quiet, composed, and adult question. Was it Rika? It was quiet, but her voice sounded lonely somehow. Didn't Rika ask you to act like my Nini for me? Oh man. What the heck? Fucking tired. Anyway, to act like my Nini for me? Oh jeez. Is that what you think? Please don't take offense. Rika is strangely considerate of me, but it really doesn't bother me that much. I could say that for sure that at least was a lie. Yesterday and today, Satoko had been so happy spending time like this with me as siblings. And that was proof itself that she was lying about it not getting to her. So I gave Satoko a light poke in the head. Nothing. You're thinking too much, dummy. I'm me, Keiichi Maibara. I'm not your Nini, not Satoshi Hojo. I know that. Despite her saying that, her expression seemed a little bit lonesome. At this point, Satoko herself had realized that her question had been the wrong thing to say. We didn't need to keep talking about something that Satoko regretted. So in order to cut the conversation short, I grabbed Satoko's head and pet her. Let's not talk about silly things like that. It's getting late, so get back home, brush your teeth, and go to bed. And rinse your mouth before sleeping too. It'll keep you from getting a cold. You're one to talk, Nini. Be sure to brush your teeth, okay? Rinse your mouth and wash your hands, then get your books ready tomorrow. And... I wondered what kind of siblings Satoko and Satoshi were. I've never seen them together, but I could say without a doubt that they were really close. They were really close, huh? Oh my gosh. Someone's inviting me to a game. I'll do that later. But I could say without a doubt that they were really close. As for the way in which they were close, it was probably quite like this. It was so cool that the day's heat seemed like a lie, and yet the moonlight was somehow faintly warm. The quiet chorus of the insects was pleasing to the ears. Ah, so pleasing indeed. Let's see, received new tips, Satoko's trap course, intermediate. So I got trials and tribulations. Alright, let's look at the new tips. Oh, okay, so there's only one. I'm liking the music so far. I'm cool with that. Alright, chapter 2. Let's look at the new tip, as usual. I could see Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun walking over to the gym storehouse. They needed to get the bag of lime used to make the lines on the court for our next gym class. Oh boy. They were on duty today after all. But in that storehouse, a terrible trap was awaiting them. Being on this side of the trap for once is really thrilling. Oh. If you realize that is the true pleasure in setting up traps, then you have the potential yourself, Keiichi-san. The two of them fumbled around with the gym storehouse's lock. Oh? What's this? Okamura-kun pointed part of the door and started whispering to Tomita-kun. Then, realizing something, they both jumped away from the door. Oh, Satoko, I think they found out. Did we mess up? I had calculated that they wouldn't notice the trap at the entrance. And of course, I've calculated what action they will take now. Ho ho ho. According to Satoko, after they noticed the suspicious trap on the door, they would go around and try to get in through the back window. And just as she prophesied, they went around to the back. And just as she prophesied, they climbed up, opened the window, and tried to sneak in. Wow, amazing! Everything's exactly like you said. Ah, it got them. Poof, poof, oh my god. An explosion of pure white lime burst out of the window. After a few moments, the two of them managed to crawl away from the window, both of them completely white. Oh my gosh. Oh ho ho, oh ho ho ho. This is the moment I live for. It tastes like honey. Oh, ain't that sweet. But still, that was some trap. You would have had to know everything to set something like that up. Where they'd put their hands, their legs, where they jump down? Is that even a question? Listen carefully, Keiichi-san. The first step is making... Listen carefully, Keiichi-san. The first step to making a trap is to watch and observe the victim. You must scrupulously, I keep butchering the word. Scrupulously predict their movement patterns, how they'll move at any given moment. If you do that, then you can achieve the greatest possible results with only the most minimal trap. Come to think of it, before Satoko read the final move at the final moment earlier, Mion had given her high praise, saying she had the makings of a genius. So it's all about reading the opponent. So then, the traps you've caught me in before, they worked because you figured out everything I do? Yes, I can see right through all your actions, and that's how I set them up. So if one day you suddenly started having different habits and behavior, I wouldn't be able to anymore. Bragging that she could anticipate everything I do, that was kind of mean. Okay then, let's play a game now. I want to test whether your predictions are accurate. Yes, that is fine with me. Keiichi-san, you are particularly easy to get a read on. I could do it before breakfast. Oh ho ho ho. When we went back to the classroom, Satoko tore off pieces of paper and wrote something on the back of them, making 3 cards. Of course, I didn't know what she'd written. Please, pick one of these cards, Keiichi-san. If you do not pick one that says you're a loser, you will win. Great, you're on. The club has built up my sensitivity to the stuff, so I'll smash right through your predictions. Satoko smirks and holds out the 3 cards. Set your mind to full power by calming it, Keiichi Maibara. Cool and collected is how you'll win. If I don't pick the losing one, I'll win. Which means if I do pick it, Satoko will win. In other words, Satoko wants to make me pick the losing one. What would she do to make sure I pick the losing one? Interesting. Losing one. Well, ain't this something? Losing one. Could she even predict something like that? Statistically speaking, isn't there some rule that says I'm more likely to pick the one in the middle or the ones on either side? And then it hits me like a flash. This is what Mion would do. Now, which one will you pick? I've made my decision, and it is this one. What are you doing? I steal all 3 cards from Satoko's hands. I predicted what Satoko would do in advance. Satoko wanted to make sure I picked the losing one, which meant all 3 of them which meant all 3 of these were losing ones. And that's how I knew. Allow me to look at all 3. I flip all 3 cards face up, and on each one there is a single word. You're a loser. Oh my gosh. What a freaking twist. What is this? You're a loser, huh? It means just what it says. If you had only chosen one, you wouldn't have lost. What? What? Then you predicted that I draw all 3? Gah! I held my head in my hands and fainted as Satoko reveled at the might of her abilities. Her shrill laughter echoed throughout the classroom. And then there was a poof as lime powder came down upon Satoko's head. I looked to see Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun all in white, dumping a whole bag of lime powder on her, getting their revenge. Hojo, you're the only one who could have set up a trick like that. Well, excuse me, would you happen to have any proof? And I'd like it if you didn't call it something so inelegant, a trick. I would prefer you call it something more refined, a trap. Please. Trap? What the fuck? Like... Anyway. God damn you, Twitter, and your bullshit. Trap, please. Payback. Keiichi-san, help me. Our underclassmen crashed around the classroom in furious combat, getting white lime everywhere. Hey, Satoko, why couldn't you see this coming exactly? At the time, I hadn't seen something coming too, though. The teacher coming to me afterward and giving us all a stern talking to. Well then, that was something. Alright, so let's look at all the tips. So we got Trap Course Elementary and Intermediate. So all these tips were read. Alright, this marks the end of Chapter 2. So I'm just going to end this here for now. So next part, well, not Chapter 2, Part 2. Next part, we're going to move on to Part 3 of Chapter 3. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys later. Have a good day.